Being the hour of 7 o'clock, we'll open the Selectmen's Meeting of September 24th. Before we get into the agenda, I'd like to call for a moment of silence for two Oxford residents that we've recently lost. First of all, George T. Polis. George was a member of the Conservation Commission for a while, also a police officer and inspector for the Board of Health. And also Lorna Dion. She was the secretary at Clara Barton School for 25 years. Moment of silence, please. Thank you. The first item on the agenda is the official incorporation date of July 8th, and I'm going to ask the senator and our representatives to come forward, please.
Well, we want to first of all congratulate the Board of Selectmen and the Bicentennial Committee for bringing to our attention that somewhere along the line, maybe it was hijacked between Boston and Oxford, but somewhere along the line, the act of incorporation has been missing. And despite the best efforts of the Oxford Police Department, the Massachusetts State Police, the National Guard, and many others, it was not located. And so by request of the town meeting, or request of the Board of Selectmen, actually, a date was established. I know we talked to the archives, to the state library and everyone else, and there was not, other than this date seemed to be the most accurate date for July 8th, 1713. Even though we know the town was settled prior to that, and we just had the Huguenot picnic. The Huguenots were here, obviously Native Americans were here before them, and so there were folks here. And there is even the suggestion that probably or possibly the town believed that it was incorporated because there was a record of a member of the general court having been chosen to represent the town, and that usually signified the establishment of the town. But in order to eliminate any question, and also to make sure that the celebration was held on the right date, now 300 years later, that the legislature, as the court of last resort, the general court, passed legislation at your request to say basically, notwithstanding any general or special law to the contrary, the date of July 8, 1713 is hereby validated, ratified, confirmed, and declared. You don't get any more certain than that. So we have to present to you actually a copy, signed copy of Chapter 62 of the Acts of 213, signed by Acting Speaker Paul Donato, who I know both of these gentlemen know well, the acting president at the time, Stanley Rosenberg, senator from Amherst, and signed by DePaul Patrick, the governor of the Commonwealth. So we will present this to the board, and I'm sure the town clerk will probably want it kept in the archives so that for the 400th anniversary, there will be no question that will be done. So I, at this point, ask if my colleagues have something they want to add to that.
Thank you very much, Representative Paul Frost. I can remember a few years back, might have been Gene, it might have been someone else, that did ask me about, researching what actual date was Oxford's birthday, its date of incorporation. And I know just from when we looked at it and we asked around and we called around, what we got back for an answer was, there really isn't one. Have the town pick whatever they want. So that's more or less what came back as a suggestion. Have them pick a date and go with it. So, but I'm glad that, through the tireless research of the folks here in Oxford and that the town decided to, give itself that date, pick its date, pick the best date that they, by looking through the historical records and and saying this looks like it's the actual date of our incorporation. And I'm glad Oxford officially has its birthday now etched in stone, and can go forward with further celebrations without having to ponder, guess, wonder, if it was another day, So, but really, congratulations to everybody. Again, I know we were here a few weeks ago, and we kind of threw that out there, but I do want to say it again. Thank you to the Oxford 300th Committee, to the town of Oxford, to the Board of Selectmen, everyone in the community who helped make that year-long celebration. And I know it took a lot more planning than a year for the people of Oxford to celebrate their rich history. Representative Fatton and myself did present the community with a resolution from the Massachusetts House honoring its 300th anniversary that was presented back at the ecumenical service, and we hope that is would be shared with the entire community. And we of course want to say again, congratulations. It's as you go forward in your next 300 years, people in this community and people today are continuing to make history and make Oxford one of the shining communities of the Commonwealth. And I thank you all for that, and I'm proud to represent you. God bless you all. Happy birthday, Oxford, officially. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The only thing I will add, and be very, very brief, is to say it's always a pleasure to work with these two gentlemen to try to help the town of Oxford, and sometimes in expeditious way. Sometimes it takes a little bit more work, but we got it done. And I want to say happy birthday 300 times over.
Thank you.
And then, you'll put it in front. The legislature in the budget this year also provided an appropriation for the celebration. We know that you actually made money in the celebration, so you can do with this as you see fit. A lot of communities have used it for some kind of a longer lasting memorial. I know Sutton actually created a park?
I wasn't. No, that was before
Um,
my time.
No, this is more recent. Jennifer Hagan did it.
Trace it to
You might have still been
Yeah.
around, even though you'd think I was there in '72. You might have been around in Sutton at that time, and now you're in the big city of Webster. So they actually created a park in memory of the celebration of the town along the Blackstone River. So that's obviously something, it's up to you folks to figure out what to do with it. I think Alan mentioned to us when we were here 2 weeks ago that there may need to be some way to allow the community to keep what you have plus this in a fund for either future celebrations or for some other appropriate purpose in the recognition. I don't think there's enough here to send the whole board anywhere in particular. If one of your members was still on the board, he probably could take it somewhere a little south of here and try to parlay that into a bigger kitty, but he's not on the board now, so you can't entrust him with public funds. But we're happy to add this to the treasury of the town, as well as the additional local aid that we were able to provide this year in the budget. So it's a little bonus. This is the tip, I guess, for that.
Very good.
Want to add anything to this?
Well said.
Oh, let's get the photo over here. We
All
gotta, we gotta get Pop's photo. No, I just want to say, thank you to the senator, thank you to Representative Fatman. The senator got it in the Senate part of the budget. We supported it on the conference committee, as well as maybe a veto of the governor needed to be overturned. We had to vote for that in the House and make sure this money got through, and I know the senator did that on his end as well. So we're glad that you have this, and we know you'll use it well.
Thank you.
So I don't know if you can allow the members of the bicentennial or tricentennial committee to join the board for a photo.
Sure.
I think a historic, if you want to, maybe I'll come up and back if the board probably stands
Alan,
up.
why don't you come up?
Yeah, I could do it behind.
Committee members want to join?
Yeah,
Have him come
come
up.
on.
Not all the members who are here. We can stand in front of the town manager.
Sure. I'm gonna stand in front of anybody. He's the guy you wanna stand in front of.
Yeah, you won't offend anybody if you stand in front of
I don't
him.
want to offend the board.
Where's the key? Wait, come on the other side. You can take a picture or you can be there.
Law.
That's a real law.
It's a real law.
Walk it. Yeah,
Oh, you can take a picture if you want. I don't know if you want to be in a picture.
you're a veteran.
want to get the...
Can you get the whole board in there?
Got him?
Okay, very good.
You acting for the town treasurer?
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't spend it all in just the Oxford Diner.
Why not?
Watch out now.
Put aside-
Help me decide to check if you want.
On behalf of the Board of Selectmen, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our senator and our two representatives for all their help. I don't know where they find the time, but they're always, when Oxford needs them, they're there. I seen the three of these gentlemen this past Sunday up at the Huguenot picnic, and here they are again tonight. And then the week before the picnic, they were here to make a presentation as well to Mr. Shedd. So these people are very, very good to the town of Oxford, and I hope we all keep that in mind. Also, I'd like to extend our appreciation to the Historical Commission, and I know that Gene O'Reilly and the committee spent a lot of time on the research for this. I know that I was talking to Gene, a couple years back on this, and it was decided, and she was able to, her and her committee were able to pinpoint that date, July 8th, 1713, going back into the archives. And it was followed up by our senator and our representatives, and we certainly appreciate it. Now we know officially that we are a town. Thank you. Board members have anything to add?
They have been for 300 years.
Yes, we have. We paid the taxes to prove it.
It's retroactive.
Oh, is that right? Thank you very much.
Maybe they can come back next month with another check for something else.
Yeah, maybe some local
Feel
aid.
free to come
Maybe
back.
some local aid would be nice.
We all, the three of us all have a couple of other towns that seem to want money too.
Oh, is that right? We're not the only ones?
We're the most fun. Look at the party we had.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're right on time. The next item on the agenda is a public meeting for the layout of Jasmine Drive, AKA Jasmine Road. Do we have a representative present?
I'll do that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
In your packet, there is a description. I'm looking at page 20 of 24 pages that has the meets and bounds description of Jasmine Road as of a particular subdivision road shown on an acceptance plan entitled Acceptance Plan of Jasmine Road in Oxford. I think the first thing we should take care of is that originally, and several years ago, this board voted at the request of the developer to name that road Jasmine Drive. Subtle difference is that all the signs and all the deeds and all the plans since then have been referring to Jasmine Road. So I request the board vote to change that name from Jasmine Drive to Jasmine Road. Your administrative assistant has contacted all of the property owners that would be affected by their deeds, and I believe they're all in agreement with that change. This will make it consistent with everything out there. The first part, and then as far as laying out a road, it's a simple matter of saying this description, and I will advise you that it does, describes the location of a road called now Jasmine Road. It also describes a drainage easement, which is at the end of Jasmine Road, which will be the far west, and a utility easement that provides access to that drainage easement. So it's a two-part vote I'm requesting, one to change the name of this road from Jasmine Drive to Jasmine Road, and second to vote that this is in fact the description of that road for, and then it goes to town meeting. This is more explanation. Then it goes to town meeting to be accepted as a public way. So that's two parts. This doesn't obligate us in any way at this point. It just makes it, it's your vote that this is where the road is, at my advice, and then change the name. Pleasure of the board.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Board members have any comments? Yes.
Joe, has the planning board signed off on this? Is this road, this development all set now with?
From their point of view, yes.
Okay, so, because if town meeting does accept this, then it becomes a town road.
Public
correct?
way, that's right.
Public way, okay. Thank you.
You'll recall from your experience on the planning board that there is also a shared septic system as part of this project. Part of the problem I had, because I was involved with it back then, and I have since worked out with the developer's attorney, is that there's a private sewer in the public way. And I wanted to make it clear that we are not, when we accept this as a public way, we are not accepting the private sewer.
Okay.
That's already been easement out to the association. And when we do the motion, I'll make sure we have that in there anyway, that we're not accepting it.
And we have the easement to get to the
Drainage.
drainage area.
That's over
back
the
there.
utility easement.
Okay,
That's why there's two easements listed here.
all right, okay,
And that was, you'll recall, a problem too, because
right.
the original drainage easement was, I don't know if, I don't think any of our four-wheel drive vehicles could negotiate it. So that's ready to go, thank you.
Okay,
Any other comments? There being none, I'll call for the vote.
I'll make a motion first that we change this road from Jasmine Drive to Jasmine Road, and, what was the other part?
Approve the layout.
Approve the
as
layout.
Presented.
As presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? There being none, I'll call for the vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, 5 in the affirmative, motion carries unanimously.
No, Jasmine Road, thank you.
Thank you.
That's all we have on that subject.
Okay. We're running about 10 minutes ahead of schedule, so I'm going to ask the manager to get into his report.
Very good, thank you. Meeting minutes. Request the board vote to approve the executive session minutes of May 14th, 2013. This is before the election, so the only members all members were present at that meeting except Selectman Berthium and Selectman Mahota. Pleasure of the board to approve the executive session minutes.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion? Anybody have any discussion? To the manager. This is the minutes regarding an issue on
Discipline?
discipline. Is that been
That's resolved?
resolved, or is it still under appeal? Because I do have a problem with accepting minutes if there is an appeal pending or a possible lawsuit pending.
It's still a civil service.
We're waiting for the final written decision from Civil Service.
Okay, then could we word the motion that we approve the minutes subject to the disposition of the Civil Service Commission?
So moved.
Okay, it's been amended. I'm going to call for the vote on the amendment.
Yes.
Yes.
Abstain.
Yes. 3 in the affirmative, 2 abstentions. The amendment passes. Now back to the original motion.
Call for the vote? Yes.
Abstain.
Yes, 3 in the affirmative, 2 abstentions, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. The police, we've done compliance checks on liquor licenses. On September 12th, Sergeant Jeremy Grenett and Officer Matthew Laskes conducted compliance checks of the Town of Oxford's alcohol pouring and retail package license holders. 4 establishments licensed by the Board of Selectmen failed the compliance checks. Compliance checks have to do with selling to underage customers. The establishments were given written notice of said violation and signed the department's copy. A hearing will be sought in Dudley District Court for the violation of selling alcoholic beverages to a person less than 21 years of age. A copy of Officer Lasky's report is attached for your reference. All violators are first offenders according to your policy 1208B. In accordance with your policy 1208B, the Board of Selectmen should hold a hearing on the license violations. I suggest the date of October 22nd, which is gives us time for notifying the offenders and scheduling the meeting. Pleasure of the board?
I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion? There being none, I'll call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 5 in the affirmative, motion carries.
We have a right of first refusal under the Chapter 61 subsections that allow for tax assessment reduction if land is kept in a particular use, such as farming, open space, recreation. I think those are the 3 main ones. When that is changed, the town has a right of first refusal to buy the land. So we've received a waiver of town's right of first refusal request, that is a request to waive our right, from D. Edwin and Jean Eames concerning 51 Federal Hill Road, map 16, parcel D09. In the correspondence, their letter of August 21st, 2013, you were advised that the Eames wish to convert 15 to 20 acres of their 93-acre parcel to a solar energy facility for solar energy production. Mr. and Mrs. Eames are requesting that the town waives its right of first refusal for this proposed conversion. The Planning Board and Conservation Commission both recommend waiving the right of first refusal. Pleasure of the board.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion? There being none, call for the vote.
Yes.
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 5 in the affirmative, motion carries.
We have notice of a crop walk and a request for the board to vote to approve the Oxford Ecumenical Council's 38th Annual Crop Walk on Sunday, October 20, 2013. The walk will depart from the Oxford First Congregational Church, and I'm not sure where they're going. That's okay. 25% of all funds stay in Oxford to help operate the Oxford Food Shelf. Where do they go from the Congregational Church?
Yeah, down Main Street and then by the Chafee School, Clover and back.
Okay, so they go down Main Street to the Chafee School and then up through the subdivisions, up the side roads and back. I'm sorry I didn't have that. Pleasure of the board to approve this request.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. In discussion? There being none, call for the vote.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes, 5 in the affirmative, motion carries.
And then a few announcements and reminders. On September 1st, 2013, Oxford Fire and EMS Department received the 2012 Life Safety Achievement Award. The department was awarded the 2012 Operation Life Safety Achievement Award, which was presented jointly by the National Association of State Fire Marshals, Fire Research and Education Foundation, and Grinnell Mutual Reinsurance Company. Since 1994, the Life Safety Achievement Award has recognized fire departments for having outstanding fire safety statistics and prevention programs during the preceding calendar year. The award was given in recognition of the proactive fire prevention efforts that the department has made towards improving communities' fire and life safety behaviors. And more on fire. Oxford Fire Department and the Oxford Firefighters Association are joining in the fight against muscular dystrophy by hosting 2 Fill the Boot drives, and 1 open house. The boot drives will take place on Saturday, September 28th at the Market Basket Plaza, and Saturday, October 19th at the Oxford Walmart. They'll not be in the streets, so fear not. Those aren't our guys if they try to stop you to put money in the boot. They'll be at Market Basket on the 28th and on October 19th at Walmart. The open house will be on Saturday, October 12th from 10 to 2 p.m., presumably at fire headquarters. We have, in case you didn't know, there's a special town meeting coming up Wednesday, October 9th, 2 weeks from tomorrow. Today's Tuesday, tomorrow's the 25th. It will be held at 7 p.m. in the Oxford High School auditorium. The last day to register to vote for town meeting is September 27th, this Friday, at the town clerk's office, which will be open from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Friday. Other hours are 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. It's fall time and time to clean up the house, get ready for winter. We will be having bulk item drop-off for residents of the town. No businesses are allowed. Vehicle sizes are limited to 1-ton trucks, so if you have a big pickup truck or van, you're okay. That's the maximum allowable size. All households are limited to 2 loads. All loads will be checked and recorded at the gate. Drop-off dates will be strictly enforced. The dates are Saturday, October 26th, for residents north of Charlton Street and Sutton Avenue, and Saturday, November 2nd, for residents south of Charlton Street and Sutton Avenue. If you have questions about what's acceptable and you need help in rescheduling your time, call the DPW at 987-6006. And if I can be really quick, in case people wondered, Halloween is October 31st. It's always October 31st. And trick or treat will also be October 31st. Believe it or not, we've gotten calls already. When is Halloween? Halloween is the 31st. We don't change that. Trick or treat, we restrict in accordance with Selectmen's Policy number 2020. The children will be allowed to trick or treat from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on that evening, and we'll be announcing that again. Thank you very much. Finished it.
Thank you, right on time, too. How about that? The next item on the agenda is a public meeting in regards to a vicious dog complaint. Pursuant to Chapter 140, Section 157 of the Mass General Laws pertaining to dogs, the Oxford Board of Selectmen will hold a hearing on Tuesday, September 24th at 7:30 p.m. in the Selectmen's Meeting Room on the second floor of the Town Hall, located at 325 Main Street in Oxford, to address complaints of vicious or barking dogs and other disturbances disturbances, filed by Priscilla Brooks. With that, I'm going to ask the Animal Control Officer to come forward, please. I have before me the complaint under Section 157, Chapter 140, that was initiated and signed by Mrs. Brooks. Could you give us an overview of what has happened?
Sure. On August 14, 2013, I was called to 13 Dana Road in Oxford due to a report of a 4-year-old girl named Ava Flagg being bit by a dog that lived at this residence, meaning the 13 Dana Road. The dog lived at that residence. Upon arrival, I viewed an ambulance leaving 9 Dana Road, which is Ava's house, which is right next door to number 13. And I just want to point out that there is no number 11 Dana Road, so these two houses are right next to each other. There's no building in between. I spoke to Thomas and Elizabeth Mills of 13 Dana Road, the owners of Waffles, the dog who bit Ava. I quarantined the dog for 10 days and determined that Waffles was up to date on her rabies vaccination and licensed with the town of Oxford. Elizabeth Mills was in the house at the time of the incident and did not see anything. Thomas Mills stated that he was bringing some tomatoes from his garden to his neighbor, Priscilla Brooks, who was in her yard next door. Thomas had his dog Waffles with him, but not on a leash. Priscilla's daughter, Ava Flagg, approached Waffles and reached to pet the dog when she was attacked. Thomas Mills stated that he did not see the actual attack because Waffles was standing behind him. Priscilla Brooks stated that Ava reached to pet Waffles when the dog suddenly growled and lunged at Ava. Priscilla said that Waffles knocked Ava down, pinned her to the ground, and bit Ava in the face. Ava suffered several puncture wounds and a laceration on her left cheek. After the attack, Thomas Mills brought Waffles into the house and Priscilla Brooks called for an ambulance for Ava. Do you want me to continue reading like everything that's happened up until this date?
Yeah, that would
Okay.
be good if you could do that.
On September 2nd, 2013, I received a call from the Oxford Police Department because Priscilla Brooks had called them to report that Waffles was loose in her neighbor's yard and she was concerned for the safety of her daughter. I called Elizabeth Mills and she assured me that Waffles would be kept on a leash when she was outside. On September 4th, I spoke to Priscilla Brooks and she stated that on September 3rd, her daughter Ava and her 3-year-old friend were playing in the front yard when Priscilla saw Waffles loose in the yard next door at 13 Dana Road. Priscilla was frightened and rushed the 2 children into the house. I went to 13 Dana Road and spoke to Elizabeth Mills, and she assured me that Thomas Mills had a long retractable leash on Waffles and that she was not loose on September 4th. It might have appeared that she was, but he was on the porch, and Elizabeth said that he had the retractable leash on the dog, but you know, I wasn't there, but maybe they just couldn't see it from next door or something. At that time, Elizabeth Mills informed me that they were planning on moving to Maine soon and that Waffles would no longer be living next to Ava Flagg. Priscilla Brooks filed a complaint of a dangerous dog with the Selectmen's Office on September 4th, 2013. Due to the close proximity of the victim to the dog, the lack of any fencing in between the properties, and the severity of the attack, I requested the hearing be scheduled as soon as possible.
Thank you. Each of the board members have a copy of all the pertinent information. So before I open it up for questions, I want to ask if the complainant, is she here? Would you identify yourself for the record, please?
I'm Priscilla Brooks.
Okay. Mr. Mills, is Mr. Mills here?
No, I'm
You-
his wife, Elizabeth.
You're Elizabeth Mills? Okay, and you're representing your husband as well? Okay. And the dog is licensed
Oh, yeah.
to you?
Either Thomas or Elizabeth or Thomas and Elizabeth.
Okay, but you're in the same household?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, with that, I'm going to open it up to board members for questions. Yes, Mr. Vos?
How you doing? This is Glenn. Is this the first offense with this dog?
As far as we know, yes. The Mills adopted the dog in April. from the Worcester Animal Rescue League. And my understanding was that she was a stray,
Yes, they picked her up on the street.
picked her up on the street. So we really don't know, we don't have any history of the dog before that.
Does this dog appear to you to be violent or
She appears very friendly
She
when you
appears
meet her. She
very-
wags her tail the whole time.
appears to be very friendly, never shown its teeth to you or jumped on you or attacked you in any way, never bit you?
No.
And you had the dog for 10 days?
No, the dog was quarantined normally the dog's quarantined at the people's house,
Oh, okay.
unless there's some reason not to do that. But they kept the dog in and they quarantined the dog
And
fine.
you're saying that this isn't, the mills do not have a fence around their yard at all? Not front, back, side, none of that, huh?
They put up a little section of a fence, it's a solid fence, just to block the view, so when they were walking the dog, that Ava wouldn't have to see the dog, so she wouldn't be scared.
And this is just a little dog, correct? It's not a,
No, well, she's not
What size
huge,
dog?
but she's probably about that tall. She's kind of
stocky,
stocky, but not
so it's a
huge.
mid-size, 50-pound type
Mm.
dog,
Maybe a little more than that,
right in that
right around
area.
there, yeah.
And when this attack happened, the dog was just running loose, wasn't on a leash.
It wasn't on a leash, but it was right with Mr. Mills.
It was with Mr. Mills, so do you think this could have been avoided just by simply keeping the dog on a leash?
I think that it was totally unexpected, that they had never seen any indication of the dog. They had no indication that the dog would do this. My understanding is that Ava had pet the dog a couple times before that, and everything was fine. So I don't think that they thought there was any viciousness in the dog. So even if it was on the leash, the dog was behind Mr. Mills, and I think it happened so fast that I don't know if a leash would have made a difference in this
Yeah,
case.
and I know you weren't there. Was there any talk about was this a provoked thing? Did the child grab the dog, lunge after I know you weren't there. No one.
Not that I'm aware, and
that'd
maybe
be a
they
question
could
for
shed a
someone
little
else.
more light on that, but not that I'm aware of.
So you basically think the dog doesn't appear to be violent, doesn't have any violent tendencies.
Well, I mean, it did in this.
Well, yes, right, exactly. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
we've had other dog complaints where it's just been everyone that looked at the dog
Right,
said,
right.
hey, the dog's a little, that's all I have, John.
Any other questions for the dog officer?
And I have a question for the Brooks.
Yeah, I'm gonna have them up when we get through with questions for her, for Kelly. We all set? Okay, then I'm gonna ask Mrs. Brooks to come forward, please. Mr. and Mrs. Okay, feel free to ask your question.
Yes, you had a dangerous dog complaint. Has the dog, do you think the dog is dangerous?
I do,
Why?
because it ripped my daughter's face open.
Well, maybe any other time besides.
No, not any other time before, but I mean, she's gotta go through so much
I
in life
understand
now
that. I
because of
understand.
this.
I'm sorry.
I have pictures if you wanna see them.
I saw the
We've
pictures.
seen the pictures.
Yes, Mr. Vos?
Hi, Mrs. Brooks, I'm very sorry. I know it's traumatic anytime your dog's attacked like that. Is this the first time? Has there ever been another instance where this dog had shown violence or
Not
attacking?
before, no.
No, so this is, has your daughter played with this dog previously?
Yes.
So this was an isolated incident that,
Well, petted, more or less, not
Right.
playing, you know what I
right,
mean?
but I mean, they've interacted
Oh,
together
yes,
where there
yes.
wasn't any problems, that the
Yes.
dog wasn't biting her or, all dogs are gonna jump a little bit from time to time, we understand that. So there's never been any problems?
No. And I was at work that day, so I kinda got the phone call from her, so, and
So-
she was there. I rushed home as soon as I could, and ambulance and everybody was already there when I got there. Kinda real emotional, kinda in and out of there. Then I followed them to the hospital,
So it's always been a friendly relationship between no one's seen this coming, this was just all?
Oh,
No.
absolutely.
This was
No,
out of the
it was
blue.
always friendly, and before she got attacked, she had pet it 3 or 4 times before that, and then the very last time that she went to pet it, it just grabbed her by the face and took her to the ground.
Yeah,
I mean, the bite went almost all the way through her mouth onto
right.
the inside, it was that
And
deep.
you were with your daughter when this
Yeah.
happened?
I saw it happen.
And it was not your daughter didn't, I'm not trying to assign blame, I'm just trying to figure out why this might have happened. Your daughter didn't grab the dog
No,
or?
she's kind of standoffish with dogs to begin with. She's very careful with them, so she just kind of went to pet it that one last time, and that was it.
Now, have you had any interaction with the Mills since then as far as the dog and what's happened and,
He stopped by the next day to see if she was all right. He thought it was just a scratch, but I told him that it wasn't. And then, I don't know, since that day, we haven't
And we
we
really
haven't
haven't
spoken.
spoke.
do you feel as though the Mills are taking it seriously? I mean, this isn't a,
I mean, it didn't seem like they were up until I had to call the cops again because, I mean, the leash that they're speaking of, they use that for their little chihuahua. That thing is, it could snap like that, you know what I mean? It's not gonna hold that
so you're
weight of a
you're
dog.
still, obviously, you're still very
Yes.
concerned, you're not?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that
you don't-
fence,
you
and
don't
that
think
fence is
that-
doing nothing, because I have a picture of the fence too. It's doing nothing, because he walks the dog in front of the fence into the backyard, and my daughter saw the dog for the first time the other day while she was playing in the yard, and she was petrified.
So, what do you hope is gonna happen today? What are you looking for to happen?
I just don't wanna really see it happen again to any other child, because there's really no record of the dog, you know, until April, whenever they got it, so
Right.
it could've happened before, I don't know. Hate to see it
Maybe
happen
that's
again
why
to
it was on the
anybody.
street to begin with.
You
You know,
know,
we don't
there's
know.
really no record of it, so, I mean, I hate to see, what we went through, I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. It was bad. It was bad. And now her being outside, because we are literally, you know, side by side with each other, it's awful. You know what I mean? She's always gonna be with one of us. I mean, usually she'll be in the front yard right there, we're right on the porch, what have you, but now she's not even really going off the porch by herself. And now all dogs, which we're trying to get her out of that, saying, you know,
So,
but she's still little, so she don't understand
no, I
it, you know,
understand,
so.
it's tough. Now, was there, in reading, Mrs. Flynn's report, there was one more instance after this, right? Well, alleged, I guess, at this point, that the dog was out loose
Yeah,
with,
I s-
with,
yeah.
without the owner, without Mr. and Mrs. Mills?
yeah.
And this was after the bite
It was
had
after
happened?
it happened actually twice, on September 2nd and September 3rd, and I called the police station on September 2nd. And I
Right, so it
let 'em out
happened,
again the
happened the
next
very
day.
next day then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's when I had two little girls outside, my daughter and her friend, and the dog went from the porch straight past the pool into the backyard. That leash is probably not even that long. And he was standing up by his door. So I didn't want the dog to see the kids and come running. Maybe it's just kids that it doesn't like, I don't know. But can't take the chance of this happening to any other kids or mine.
I understand.
I just have a question regarding the, that second incident. Is that when it was alleged that the dog was on an expandable leash?
I'm not sure when they said that it was on a leash, but both times, he was on the deck and the dog ran through the yard.
To the dog officer, can you clarify that?
I think Mrs. Mills might be able to clarify that.
The dog is never let out to go to the bathroom by itself. When it wasn't on a leash, my husband was with it. The dog is in the house 99% of the time. It is never tied out. It doesn't have a dog house. It's with me.
Okay. All right.
So the first time, yes, he was out there, the dog was not on a leash, but it did not go in her yard. Miss Kelly called me, I said, okay, we'll put the leash on her every time she's taken out now. And it's a retractable leash for her size. We also have a little retractable for
Okay.
a Chihuahua.
I'm gonna ask you not to say anything any further because we can't hear you. We're being recorded, so you're gonna have to restate what you said up here. If there are no further questions for the Brooks, we will have, yes, go ahead.
Just quickly, was the attack, did the dog stop or did you have to forcefully stop the
I
dog?
had to grab my daughter in order for him to stop, and then Tom went for the dog.
So it wasn't just like a single bite,
No,
it was like a...
no, it had her
dog
on the
was gonna
ground
keep-
until I got to her, which didn't take me long,
Mm.
but I mean, no, it didn't let
Yeah,
go by
okay.
itself.
Any other questions?
You said it didn't let go?
Not until I picked her up. So, I mean, it didn't just bite her and let go. It held her on the ground for the length of the time that it took me to get to her.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. We're going to have Mrs. Mills come up. Thank you. I'm going to have you repeat what you said over there because we couldn't hear you.
First, I would like to say how truly very sorry I am that our dog hurt this little girl. It's been terrible. My husband is under such great stress that the doctor yesterday told him he is not to come here. We got the dog at the Worcester Animal Rescue League. They did an evaluation on her, and her aggression was 0. They said she was one of the best dogs they've ever had there. So I felt comfortable taking the dog, and she wasn't a young dog. She's maybe 7, but we don't know. And she's been an excellent dog until this happened.
Any other questions by board members? Yes, Mr. Vos?
Sure. How you doing, Mrs. Mills? How long have you had a dog? Since April?
Yes.
And when you got the dog, they gave it a clean bill of health. They said there was no aggressiveness.
Yes, I have the evaluation here that they did. They did all kinds of little tests on her. And she got a score of a 3, which is just about excellent. 0 is perfect.
Now, did they know who the original owners were or where the dog came from?
No.
This is just a dog that showed up out of the blue. There's no
On the street, the
there's no
animal
record
control.
of this dog.
No.
There isn't, huh?
She now is microchipped, but she wasn't.
And this dog has never shown any violence towards anyone.
She is so submissive with my
Postman,
husband. No,
Mail carrier, milkman, whoever,
no.
never attacked anyone.
I mean, he can even take food out of her mouth. She is so submissive. Not that I would try that, but I don't know. It was just a shocking incident.
What type of dog is this?
It's a lab, black lab mix. We don't know what the mix is.
It's a girl?
It's a female, yeah.
Female, okay.
They had her spayed, all her shots, and microchipped.
What have you done since the attack to make sure this doesn't happen again?
She is now in a kennel hundreds of miles away because I don't want Ava to ever see the dog again. Sorry. This is very emotional for me. And I have the paperwork from the kennel to show you. That's
So-
where she is.
So the dog is 100 miles
It will
away.
never live in Oxford or Massachusetts again.
It's never going to live in Oxford, Massachusetts again. Okay. So, that's all I got.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Berthium?
Do you have small children, or?
No, my children are grown and my grandchildren are adults now. She had never been near a child before, now that you mention that, because our friends their children are all adults now too. So I'm thinking Ava's the only child she's been near.
So are you planning on, you said you're moving to Maine?
Yes.
Are you planning on having a dog in Maine then? She might attack another child there.
Well, where we're living going to live is quite out in the wilderness.
I know Dana Road, and that's kind of wilderness too.
No, this is really the wilderness, to me anyway. And so we're hoping to take her back. But I don't want Ava to ever see her again. I don't want Ava to have nightmares and be afraid of dogs. So Saturday we brought her up, and she's been there since.
In Maine, is that where she is?
Yep.
Do you have a place in Maine already, or?
Yes, it's being renovated. Do you need to see the paperwork from the kennel? No? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
We're
Yes,
gonna-
we want a record of that.
We need a
Okay.
copy of it.
Okay.
My only question is, With like the last case we had, and when I had brought up, sending the dog to another family, like, it's against the law, I can't do that. So my question is, us being aware of the situation before the dog was sent to another place, are we responsible for deeming the dog a dangerous dog, knowing the situation, and now we're sending it out of Mass, out of Oxford?
Good
it's
question.
kind of like,
Very good question. Matter of fact, that's the same question that I asked Kelly this afternoon. So Kelly, could you come forward and address that?
So when they changed the laws in Massachusetts recently, the animal control laws, they prohibit the board from ordering a dog removed from town. It does not prohibit the owners of the dog from moving the dog. There's no law stating that somebody cannot move the dog to another town or another state. If the board determines that the dog is a dangerous dog and they issue certain requirements that the mills would have to follow, that is valid throughout the whole state of Massachusetts. So if they move to another town, that's valid in Massachusetts. If they gave the dog away or sold the dog, they're required to tell the people that the dog was deemed a dangerous dog, in whatever criteria you put on the dog would have to be followed no matter what town they live in the state of Massachusetts. There's nothing in the law about if they take the dog out of the state.
Yeah, this is a situation where it's their choice. They're moving from the town of Oxford. You're no longer going to be a resident of the town of Oxford.
Right.
Okay? And your house in Maine is under renovation. At this point, do you have any idea on
I
when?
was hoping before snow, but it's not going as fast as I hoped.
Okay, when do you expect you will be in Maine?
I'm hoping for November, if not April.
Okay? I would suggest to the board, it's obvious that I think we have to deem the dog a vicious dog. So that would be a vote that I would ask the board to take. And in addition to that, I would suggest that we add whatever we have to ensure that whatever we set forward protects the neighborhood. If it means the board wanting them to establish a fence with the requirements as outlined in the statute, we can do that. We can also have the dog muzzled at all times when it's in the town of Oxford and it's out of the home. So these are things that we can do, and I would suggest that the board do. Now, the owner is telling us that by April, they're going to be out of town. But we certainly don't want to see the dog in town. If he is, he's going to have to you're going to have to adjust to whatever this board sets down as a standard, which could be pretty restrictive and costly. Because if you have to put up a fence, which I'm sure this board will probably want you to do, there's certain conditions that have to be established to put that fence up. It has to be a cement slab. The fence has to be, the poles within 2 feet into the ground. It can be, and a shelter, an overhead shelter. So it can become very costly. So it would probably be to your advantage to ensure that the dog not be in the town of Oxford. If it is in the town of Oxford, you're going to have to live up to whatever the board sets forward. And it could be pretty costly for you, just so you know.
Very costly boarding the dog every day,
Yeah,
too.
I'm sure it is. Sure it is. Okay, Mr. Bertheum?
Yes, do you own the house or do you rent?
No, we own. We've lived there about 30 years.
Yes, Mr. Vos?
So the house is up for sale? It's on the
No,
market?
It's not. It's not up for sale yet,
It will be up for
because
sale?
I haven't moved anything yet.
Okay.
The other house is not really livable with the electricity and the plumbing, and
And the dog's never coming back?
dog's never coming back.
So our conditions would be, if he does come back, this is what you have to do.
All right.
Any other questions, comments? Yes.
I mean, how do we really determine that the dog isn't going to be back, or isn't back, and we just never see the dog, or I mean, I'm just saying, is there something? Should we think about putting something in place, regardless of whether the dog is back or not? Because we really don't have, we won't know if the dog is here or
Right, so
not.
that's exactly why we should put these conditions on whatever vote we take.
I mean, I would feel really bad of making you install put up a fence and put up a kennel when you're not planning on being there, so to invest the money in the property, just, to have you leave in a few months. I mean, I do feel bad about that, but at the same time, we have to take some amount of,
But the
some
dog is
measure
not
to,
put outside, do you know what I mean? So even a fenced-in area,
yeah.
there's no point in having it, because the dog wants to come right back in
Mhm.
after it does its duty.
Mm.
Mr. Lamarche?
Yeah, but that is one of my concern, is that if the dog does come back and it does have to go outside to do its duty, it needs to be within a certified fenced-in area, because you don't know what that dog is going to do when it's out there. If it's on a leash, but that would be a little bit comforting to me, but I still, considering it's a dangerous dog, in my opinion, and, it's done it once, it's attacked once, and especially with a little child, I would definitely be in favor that we have these stipulations intact, that if you bring that dog back, I'm sorry.
The dog will not be
You know.
back.
Thank you.
Mr. Vos?
Back to the other point of ensuring the dog doesn't come back, is there anything that we can do, whether it be, and I don't want to get into any big expense or consume time of the dog officer, but a visit on occasion, just knock on the door, say, how you doing? And it's gonna be kind of obvious if you knock on the door and you get that dog's gonna come to the door right away.
Oh, yeah.
So, and we have the neighbors are gonna keep their eye out for the dog. I'm sure, the neighbors are concerned about their security. I believe that. I don't think they're looking to cause you any hardship. That's just my opinion. So if we could set something up to that effect, and, I mean, this can't go on for, maybe a provision after 6 months, if they're still in town, then they have to put the fence up irregardless. I don't know how it's gonna work, but, if they don't move out of town in 6 months, are you gonna just continue to kennel the dog for 8 months? The dog's never gonna come back?
My husband will kennel it. He does
The
not
dog will
want the
never come
dog
back.
killed. For some reason, there's a special bond between him and the dog. I don't understand it, but
My opinion is that we should set whatever requirements we would have set had the dog resided in this community. Okay? Let's forget that the dog's in Maine. What if that dog was still here? What would we do? We would put certain conditions on this individual to protect the neighborhood. So whatever we would have done if the dog was here, we should do now. And if they don't want to put up the fence, that's fine. But at least we have it in black and white that this is the condition. If this dog is in this town, these are the conditions that you have to live up to. And them knowing that, they won't bring the dog back to town because it would be too costly for them to do whatever we want them to do. And I believe that the dog will remain in Maine. If it does come here, then at least we have something solid to hang our hats on. And if they don't comply, then unfortunately the dog will have to be euthanized. How's the board feel?
I mean, John, I agree with that. I know we had them laid out before us, the conditions that we put forth last time. I don't have that copy in front of me, so we're gonna have to rely on the dog officer to kind of walk us through that. But there again, I think that there needs to be some type of periodic drive-by or inspection, and I'd leave that up to the dog officer at her convenience, or whenever she's in, you're in the area, knock on the door, swing by, say, how you doing?
And
you
the dog
know,
always was
dog-
right in the
by the
sliding glass
sliding
door.
door, yeah.
And the neighbors
You can't miss
are
her.
gonna let us
She's
know
big.
immediately if they, it's gonna be hard to hide a 50-pound lab. I don't think you can do it for too long.
I did call the kennel up in Maine too, and the dog is up there right now.
Can you ask them to contact you if the dog is
Yes.
moved
Sure.
or escapes?
Can you let me keep these copies, or do you want me to
Can
make
you
a
make a
copy of them?
copy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I won't write it.
Because that's kind of my receipt
Mm-hmm.
when we started voting.
Okay, I would suggest that maybe we continue this so that we can put together the conditions and have the animal control officer review these conditions, and the board members review the conditions, and then we will vote.
So we're gonna review the conditions at the dog office sets forth?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Okay, so
22nd?
we'll continue this to the 22nd of October. And at that time, we'll have the conditions for you. But, off the top of my head, I can tell you that it will probably be that you have to put in a fence, an area that's cemented with an outside shelter. And if the dog is out, it would have to be out with a muzzle, and it would have to be restrained with a leash. So that's kind of giving you an overview of,
Yeah, I mean, I
What
wouldn't
we're
go
going
to
to do,
the
because
expense
those-
of boarding the dog up in Maine and doing all this fencing. I mean, it's
right, right. We
gonna
understand
probably
that.
be $4,000 to board this dog.
And it'll probably be more than that to do what,
Oh,
Right, so if you keep the dog in Maine, you won't have to do it.
okay. She won't be back.
all right. Okay, well then, any other comments or questions before we ask to continue this to the 22nd? Yes?
Are we gonna vote tonight to deem the dog?
Yes.
So that'll be, okay.
Yes.
I
Mr.
do
Griffin?
have a comment. I think you've been very proactive about keeping this dog.
Thank you. It's been an awful, well, Kelly's seen me cry in my living room as to what happened. I don't want to see any child get hurt. I don't want to see anybody get hurt, not especially a child.
Now, this is a very sad situation because, most people get an attachment to an animal, and it's very difficult to have to put a dog down. I don't think anybody wants to do that. But on the other hand, when you look at pictures, and we saw those pictures of that poor innocent little girl that had her face chewed, it's horrific. And now we don't know what the long-lasting effects of this is going to be as far as trauma is concerned and what have you in the future. So we certainly don't want this to happen to anyone in the future. So if we all are proactive on this, everybody will benefit. So we look forward to working with you and with the neighbors to ensure that you're protected as well. So with that, I'm going to ask the board, entertain a motion to declare the dog a vicious dog and a dangerous dog, and we will continue this public hearing with a disposition on October 22nd.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? There being none, I'll call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 5 in the affirmative, motion carried. The hearing is over. Or continued. Continued until the 22nd.
Continue. Thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Okay, the next item on the agenda, we will be interviewing for a full-time police officer. I'm going to ask the chief to come forward, please.
Good
evening.
Good evening, Chief.
Hi.
We're a little over, but not that much over.
Bad, doing good. A few weeks back, the board had requested civil service a list for a full-time officer and several permanent intermittents. I'm happy to report to the board that on our roster, we have one, excuse me, one permanent intermittent on the list that is willing to accept. Roy Aquafresca. I think you have the memo that I forwarded, and I would just summarize it real quick. I'll read it. Recommendation for full-time officer. I respectfully forward the following information on candidate Roy Aquafresca, who is scheduled to be interviewed for the position of full-time officer. He's here tonight. Officer Aquafresca was appointed a permanent intermittent officer by the town of Oxford in December of 2011. Mr. Aquafresca, who has a master's degree in criminal justice, also attended the part-time Reserve Academy. Officer Aquafresca has excelled at all stages of his training. He's a consummate professional, gets along very well with department members. He's intelligent, educated, and eager to learn. His immediate supervisors see great potential in him and look forward to having him in a full-time capacity, as do I. I would therefore respectfully recommend, without any reservation, that the board appoint Roy Aquafresca to the position of full-time officer with the town. He done, like I said, to rehash, done an excellent job. I'm thrilled that he's willing to accept. And when you interview him, I think you're going to see that he's an impressive young man. And as the board was hoping with that roster, and when we're looking to build that up again, he's a product of that roster, of the intermittent roster. So with that being said, if there's any questions, or...
Chief, could you just give us an update on what happens now as far as the academy is concerned? He would have to go to a full-time academy, right? Is that correct?
Yes, he would. And what I would say is, when I mentioned the part-time Reserve Academy, that's so important now, because you have to have that to even be, as we remember before, to even have exercise any arrest powers as a permanent intermittent. So whoever, when you do the appointments in a couple weeks, whoever doesn't have that is going to need to get that before they can even be trained or have any arrest powers. I think we had dealt with that before. With Officer Aquafresca already having the Reserve Academy, if he is appointed, if he could start sometime in hopefully early November, we're hopeful to get him to an academy in Boylston. There's one in Boylston in January, middle of January. That's huge. That's not too far away. I would request respectfully of the board and Chairman Sad that we would ask for an exemption for him to be allowed to work full-time until that happens, if he is appointed. If he didn't have the Reserve Academy, that wouldn't happen. You have to have that. They wouldn't allow him to work until he went to a full-time academy. So he does have that, and I've already expressed an interest to the Boylston Academy. No guarantees, but I just said that we may be appointing some people, and hopeful to get a spot.
Now, any appointment would be subject to civil service requirements as far as
Yes,
proper
it's
testings?
conditional appointment, medical, and assuming he passes his medical exam, he would have to take a PATS test. That's still physical abilities testing that he would need to do. What happens is they get the information from the medical, and he would take a physical exam or a physical test. And I think it's held at the Hudson Armory every couple of weeks. So as soon as that's done, then that would be done. That's the conditions of it. He would have to do the medical and the PATS, and then that would fulfill that requirement.
So any appointment would be subject to?
Yes,
conditional, contingent upon them meeting the requirements of civil service?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Board members have any questions of the chief? Okay, there being none, would like to have the candidate come forward.
Thank you.
Thank you, chief.
Selectmen Town Manager, how are you?
Good evening.
Good evening.
It seems like just yesterday you were here before us
Yeah, time goes
for the
by
part-time
fast, it does.
position. Time flies when you're having fun, I guess, huh?
Absolutely.
So, I know that you have a full-time job now with Department of Corrections in Shirley.
That's correct.
And you're willing to make this move even knowing that the salary may be a bit different?
Absolutely. You know, Ms. Said also, in the past year, I was promoted to a sergeant, so once again, it was a, you know, bump in responsibility and pay, but this is just something it's a lifelong dream, something I've always wanted to do, and the reason I didn't come the first couple of times I was asked was I just had to get everything in order, make sure this is going to be the right move, and I think this is the right time. I think it's going to work out.
Okay. With that, I will open it up to the board members. Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Lamont.
Well, I'd like to just say that I'm really happy that you've decided to come along, because I know I've talked to a few of the sergeants and officers, and they've really commended you on how good of a job you've done over the past almost couple of years with us. And, you know, at first when this was mentioned, you know, you had said they had said you weren't going to take it, and it was like, oh man, you know. So I'm very happy. I think from what I've heard, you have been really a great addition to the department, to our community, and you've come up in the ranks, and this is what we like, or I personally should say, I like about our intermittents, is that we get to know you, you get to know the town. You get to know the people you're working with, even though there's probably a guy in the back there that you have to work with, but God bless you anyway, you know. No, but that's basically all I wanted to say. I don't really have any questions for you, because what I've heard is all good, and welcome aboard as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you, Mr. Lamont. I appreciate that.
Mr. Vos?
Yes, you know, you've had ringing endorsements. You know, when the chief says you're a consummate professional and all your sergeants tend to like you, some of them are pretty difficult to impress. Now, you, like Mr. Lamar said, you came up through the ranks, you got to know the town. And it's nice that you did come up to the ranks and you spent some time in our community. It gives you a better understanding as to what the town of Oxford is all about, and now you're in a more comfortable place. Currently, you're doing corrections, and obviously policing in the town of Oxford, I hope for you would be a different experience. And, you know, one question I do have for you, though, what do you think the major difference is between corrections and being a police officer is? Because there's a big difference there.
There is, you know, just the experience in general. I mean, being able to, like, help people. Some of my most favorite calls to actually go to our medical calls and helping people. In the prison, you don't really get that. It's a very negative environment, whereas policing is very positive. I have to say, I haven't had a negative experience doing the part-time policing yet. So going full-time, I just think that'll be a better benefit just to me personally. And like I said, in the long run, I think this is a career move that I want to make. Despite paying everything else, it doesn't matter. I think I'm going to be happier.
And like you said, it's a career move. You're giving up a position that you're currently at. Obviously, you're a higher rank where you are now sergeant. You're far from a sergeant now. The pay, that's going to be tough. Where do you see yourself in Oxford in 10 years from now?
Well, you know, hopefully I would move along the ranks there too. I know it's a smaller department, but I think there is potential there. So the same thing, just stay there the first few years. It's just going to be basically learning the job a lot more, because part-time you do learn a lot of the skills, but I'm sure with the full-time academy, a little more experience, I'll be a better officer. So in 10 years, I would hope to be a sergeant, but even if that's not how it is, a patrolman is still...
And you hope to remain in the town of Oxford.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm comfortable here. You know, like you said, I've met a lot of the people. I grew up here, so I know all the streets. So this town for me is just home.
Well, you know, I feel very confident that Mr. Agrafreska is going to be a good officer for us. He's got the education, seems to have the positive attitude that we like in Oxford. We like officers who are going to interact well with the people in town. You know, no RoboCops, and I know you're not one of those guys. You know, so. I'm very pleased with what I see and heard from the chief and the sergeants, and welcome aboard as far as I'm concerned.
Mr. Berthium?
Yes, Chair. Like I said, I don't know you, but I've read the reports from your correctional days, and the chief and the sergeants here, and they seem very good, and I think you're very a positive man, and you're going to do good for Oxford.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll second the positive attitude. It's good to see somebody young getting involved with the town. I'm happy that you're back and you want to stay in Oxford, taking the full-time position. That's great. And if Chief Hassett can give you his endorsement, then sounds good to me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I would just like to echo not only those sentiments, but also to tell you that everyone that I have spoken to that has worked with you had positive things to say about you. So that's a good thing. And what it shows is that our system here in Oxford works. I mean, we have a feeder system in the permanent intermittents. We envision that being our feeder system to professional, full-time police officers in our community. And we want it that way just for the same reasons that were outlined here today. I mean, you have worked as a part-time officer, you know the streets, you know the men in the department, you've worked out in the community, you have a sense of what Oxford is all about. So it makes that transition from part-time to full-time almost zero. I mean, you're gonna blend right in. And I'm sure that you'll do an outstanding job. And this makes it easier for us because you're coming up the ranks. We've already interviewed you. We interviewed you less than 2 years ago. So we pretty much know your background. In addition to that, we have an updated background investigation that was performed by our department. And it's outstanding. So with that, I'm going to ask the board to vote. And I will entertain a motion to appoint Mr. Roy Archifesco as a full-time police officer, contingent upon him meeting the requirements as outlined by civil service.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have it moved and seconded. Do we have any discussion? Yes?
The chief said he wants us to do something,
The waiver.
the waiver?
Yeah, that would be a separate vote. Okay, any other discussion? There being none, I'll call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. 5 in the affirmative, motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And let me be the first to shake your hand. Good luck. Welcome aboard.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Okay, next I'm going to ask the motion that we ask for a waiver so that the newly appointed officer can work until such time as he meets the full-time requirements.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded.
I'm sorry,
Question?
I didn't hear the motion, I was helping the reporter.
Well, you gotta pay more attention. No, the motion was that we are gonna go along with the chief's recommendation for the waiver, and that waiver would allow the officer to work until such time, full-time, until such time as he's completed the academy and passed all the civil service requirements for full-time position.
That's after the matter, the conditions are met.
Yes.
And then I would approach you, and that being said, that's because oftentimes academies aren't for 3-6 months, and so that allows them to work.
But we can move that now.
Yes, yes, you can. That's the thing, I'm gonna request that he be allowed to work once that's done, so,
Okay,
yeah.
so the motion is on the floor.
May I?
Yes?
And authorize the chairman to sign that letter when it's ready, when it's needed? That way we don't have to bring it back we can get it done quickly, get him on his boots on the ground.
Okay,
That's what the chairman would request that you sign,
Yeah.
that it has to be signed.
right,
Yeah.
okay.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? There being none, I'll call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 5 in the affirmative, motion carries. Selectmen's request. Are you done with your report, Mr.?
I am, Mr. Chairman,
Okay,
thank you.
Selectmen's request. Mr. Lamarche?
Well, the only thing I had this evening was basically congratulating the fire department and EMS and Chief Bemis especially because it's through her hard work that the department works so well. So I just want to echo what the town manager already said about their Life Safety Achievement Award, and congratulations to them. That's all I have.
Okay, Mr. Vos? All set. Mr. Berthium?
I'm all set, thank you.
Okay, I just have one thing. I did attend the Huguenot picnic this past Sunday, and I just want to publicly thank the Historical Commission and the Huguenot Society. They put on an outstanding picnic this weekend, and it's been a tradition now. It's been several years that they do this, and it's great to see such dedicated people involved in that. And that's what keeps Oxford's history going. People who get involved and continue showing that we do have some valuable history within our own community. So I just want to thank both the Historical Society and the Historical Commission for all they do. And secondly, while the chief is here, Chief, I made a note at the last meeting, and I forgot to bring it up, but somewhere I saw a memo, and I think it was a letter commending one of your officers, Officer Crochane. You familiar with that?
I get several letters, luckily.
Oh, that's good to hear.
We get a lot of them.
I'm trying to think of,
Up to the clerk. Are you familiar with that?
I think,
I
yeah,
recall that
somebody, it was in an incident, it was quite a long letter, too. so-
Yeah, and it was very
Was it a-
nice reading, and
a
it was...
medical, wasn't it a medical situation?
yeah, from what I recall, his, it was forwarded to him, and he was commended, and his sergeants are aware of it.
Yeah.
Yes, it was something medical, I don't know the whole thing, but.
Right.
But when something like that happens, I would like the board to acknowledge it publicly, because I don't think you people get enough recognition when you do get good compliments, and there's a lot of that happens out there, as you know, Chief. So I would like to entertain a motion that we send a letter to Officer Crochane, thanking him and acknowledging his outstanding service in that particular incident.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, been moved and seconded. Discussion? Being none, I'll call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 5 in the affirmative, motion carries.
Leanna?
No, it was Crochane.
No, Crochane.
Wasn't he another one?
Yeah.
I don't remember what he did.
I know what you're referring to, Chief.
Yeah.
I'll find out.
But there was-
for
yeah,
the-
there
So
was
the next
another
time
one.
we can make a regular habit of it.
Yeah.
Because it is nice to hear good news.
Exactly. It's just like our highway department. I mean, we commended them
Yeah.
and the fire department just recently got commended. I mean, these are things that they do that a lot of people don't know that they do. That's over and above and beyond. And I think the public has a right to know that we have people that deserve that kind of recognition. And that's the only thing I had. Does anyone have anything else before we adjourn? Okay, we're meeting on the 8th. That would be our next meeting. And basically, the only thing we have on the agenda on that meeting is the interviews. And I believe we have 7 individuals that we will be interviewing for 5 part-time positions. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, we are adjourned. Thank you.